Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com, and I want to introduce you to Snowpack. Snowpack is like Webpack. Um, it's a build tool for building your front end, well, typically your front end applications, but it can really be used to build any application in JavaScript and Node. And up till now, you're probably familiar with bundlers like originally the big one was Webpack. So let's go bring up Webpack, and Webpack is still sort of the dominant force in bundling. And essentially, what Webpack does is just takes all your different files, originally takes all your JavaScript files and turns them into one JavaScript file that's included with a script tag on your front end. So it basically allows you to work through your front end code across multiple files, and then have a workable, deployable build that it would render for you. And then with Webpack plugins, you're able to start adding like Sass files, graphic files, whatever kind of files you want. And then again, using those plugins, and it would just take a look through all your files, build it out into a nice bundle that you could easily deploy. But Webpack had a lot of configurations. Okay, and it's not too bad. It's certainly very workable. Um, but you know, if you're someone trying to set up your own custom React setup or Vue setup, it could be a little intimidating at first. But it's still sort of the most flexible one. And the reason why you needed a bundler to bundle this is because even though while ES introduced a module system, so in the browser you could technically set up a module system where you can import and export modules and set that all up, it wasn't really heavily supported across browsers. So using Webpack, you were able to use that syntax, that import export syntax, but not have to worry about browser compatibility because it would still just render it into one JavaScript file, one bundle. Okay. Then later on, they came out with Rollup. Okay, and let's go to the Rollup's main page. I'm going to go to rollup.org. Okay. Now, Rollup, on the other hand, took a similar approach where it's bundling your files, but it introduced a new idea called tree shaking, which since then is now in part of Webpack as well. But what tree shaking did is that it would take a look through your imports and exports and be able to determine, oh, you're only using like these functions from this library. So if you're using only 2 functions from Lodash, instead of bundling the entire Lodash library, it would bundle just those 2 functions. So this allowed you to use big libraries like jQuery and Lodash, but only have to bundle the parts that you needed, okay? Making for a smaller bundle, okay? So that's sort of what was a Rollup sort of big innovation. And it has like a different workflow, and there's less detailed configurations because there's just certain things that are kind of always the same. So like in Webpack, whenever you add like a plugin, you have to specify like what files they attach to. So well, everybody knows what like Sass files always end in .scss or .sass. You still have to specify that. Okay, so you specify like all these different file extensions and which plugins apply to which file extensions and in what folders. Rollup, you have a little bit more defaults, but you're still doing a decent bit of configuration in your Rollup config. Okay, so again, there's still a little bit of work in configuring these two. So then someone came out with Parcel. And Parcel is a bundler where the idea was to have 0 configuration. Like you can configure it if you want, you can add further configuration, but basically built in is already like most of what's like almost always universal default as far as like using Sass and TypeScript and all these things. So that technically using Parcel is just a matter of installing Parcel and setting up a script. Like it takes a few seconds. And Parcel is great. But all 3 of these, and they're all great. Okay, and if you go through all my templates, I have Webpack React builds, Rollup React builds, Parcel React builds. They all still, when you're running the dev server, every time you make a change to the file and the dev server updates the screen, what it's doing, it's rebuilding the whole bundle. So sometimes as your application gets bigger, your build times get slower because it's building a bigger and bigger bundle. So basically you'll make a change and now you have to wait like 3 or 4 seconds before it's done updating. Okay, so it's not like this, okay, you updated the code, updates right away as you get bigger and bigger and bigger projects. And there are ways to kind of optimize it and whatnot, but it does require work. So now that ES modules have become more of a universal thing, so now like all the major browsers can support ES modules, Snowpack does, instead of bundling all your code into one big file, what Snowpack does, let me see if I can find the image they have for this. So instead of doing what like Webpack, Parcel, and Rollup does and making a bundle of all your into one big JavaScript file, what it does, it just keeps all your files separate. Okay, because now the module system works. So it actually uses the ES6 module system because it's now much more compatible with most browsers. So in this case, when you make a change, it doesn't have to rebuild the whole bundle. It just rebuilds the particular file in question. So basically, each file is just translated into its corresponding JavaScript file. So in that case, it takes you a lot less time to rebuild, even as your project gets bigger, because you're only rebuilding the file that you changed. So in this case, you could have a really huge 100-file application, and if you only change one file, it's pretty much going to update just as quick as if you had a 5-file program. Okay, so that's pretty neat. Okay, and this really brings us to the benefit of why we wanted the ES module, native module system in the first place. So we could have this optimization, and now, it's almost here. Now, it's not perfect. I know I find myself having to restart the Snowpack dev server sometimes, just because, again, it's not rebuilding all the files. So sometimes when it rebuilds one file, there's changes needed in other files that it doesn't make. So just so you know, if you run into a situation where you're making an update, everything looks good, the code looks good, but it still isn't like building or serving it right, just restart the dev server. But this is pretty cool and it's really fast. Okay, and they have a lot of templates already built out with all your favorite frameworks. So if you want to use Vue, React, Svelte, with Snowpack, they have a template already ready. So instead of making my own templates for each of these like I've been doing for Merced Spinup, I just took the ones that Snowpack already created and added them to Merced Spinup. So now if you use the Merced Spinup tool, you could do a command like mpx Merced Spinup and do snow react, and then again, whatever your folder name is going to be, let's say project 1, it'll actually then clone the official React template. Okay, and I think I have the different ones are Snow React TS for their TypeScript template, Snow TS just for their basic TypeScript template, Snow Svelte if you want to use Svelte, Snow Vue, and then there's Snow Lit for Snow Lit HTML, which I've never used Lit HTML yet, so I'll have to try that out one of these days. And then there's like Slow Lit TS, that's Lit HTML with TypeScript. So those are their official templates. And then there's just Snowpack if you just want a straight up Snowpack setup with no library, with no particular framework built on top of it. So if you want to set your own custom setup of some sort. I have created one template so far for React with Snowpack. So that would be Snow React Loaded. Basically, this is my React Loaded template, which is the one where I have like the global state, router, SaaS, a bunch of really kind of built-in components ready to go. I do have, so the original version is a Webpack version. That would be React Loaded is the template name. This one is the same template, just with using React Loaded. Okay, and I have actually also, just on a separate note, added a netlify.toml file or a redirects file, because assuming that most people who are going to build out these React sites are probably going to host them on Netlify. That way you don't have those issues with router where if you refresh a page it errors. So that will be in there, so that way that's another little cool bonus in these templates. But that's set up. So basically, if you want to try out Snowpack, you can do it really easy using Merced Spinup. You can easily access all their existing all their official templates and my React Loaded template. And it won't feel any different to you. It's just like developing React, but it loads pretty fast. So as you add more and more stuff, it's going to rebuild quicker, and it just gives you another way to do a React build. So in Merced Spinup, you can find a Snowpack version of React, a Webpack version of React, a Rollup version of React, and a Parcel version of a React build for you to build out. All you have to do is just head over to npmjs.com, look up Merced Spinup, So that way you can see the full list of templates. Okay, and here's like the list of templates. So these are all the front end templates. So see, it's a pretty long list. These are the official Snowpack ones. So I separate them out because I want to make sure that they get full credit, that these are their templates that they made. Okay, these are templates that I've made backend for the backend, and then these are some miscellaneous templates for different things that you might find useful. Okay, so you can try out Merced Spin Up. You can go try out Snowpack, Webpack, Rollup, Parcel. I have also templates that use all four throughout here in Merced Spin Up. But this way now you know sort of about the four main bundlers and sort of context of sort of what they do and why they matter. But my name is Alex Merced from Alex Merced Coder. Do join the Slack or Discord community over there at Alex Merced or at devnursery.com. Okay, so you go to devnursery.com, join the Slack community, join the Discord community. You can also join the Spectrum community, which is like a chat place. But join. Okay, and then again over here you can find video tutorials. I have a few. Okay, and you can find all my blog posts on all sorts of cool stuff. So with that, I'll see you guys later. Have a great day. And then also do consider becoming a patron. So if you go to alexmercedcoder.com, you can click on, where did I put it? I thought I added the link here. Did I not? I guess not yet. But if you go to the JS libraries, I'll add the Patreon link in soon. You can support my efforts on Patreon by just going to patreon.com/alexmercedcoder. Okay, I just kind of made this today, so yeah, you can go there, because I'm going to keep making more libraries, more templates, more resources for you guys. So if you guys want to support that effort, so that I can dedicate more time to it and make cooler stuff, and then again, if you're a patron, I'll take special requests. Do that there. So I'll see you guys later. Have a great day and enjoy.